One of those things you kind of assumed to have been true all along, and yet you are shocked when the hard confirmation actually shows up on your door. Our fourth story tonight from the former White House press secretary himself, word that the Bush White House routinely sent, and as far as we know still sends, literal talking points to Fox News for its primetime propagandists, Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, and the others, to spout as if ventriloquist dummies, as if they had thought of it themselves, as if they had come to those opinions independently, as if there had been a process that was either fair or balanced. Former Bush Press Secretary Scott McClellan, appearing this evening on MSNBC's Hardball, ripped once and for all the fig leaf off the Fox News claim of fairness, of integrity, ending, one would hope forever, the debate over whether a government has really used private media as a propaganda outlet.
Certainly there were commentators and others, pundits at Fox News that were helpful to the White House. And certainly, yes, certainly we got talking points to those people.
Call Sean, call Bill, call whoever. Did you do that as a regular thing?
It wasn't necessarily something I was doing, but it was something that we at the White House, yes, were doing, and getting them talking points and making sure they knew where we were coming from.
So you were giving them talking points.
But I would separate the journalists.
That's important. You were using these commentators as your spokespeople.
Well, certainly. I mean, certainly. I think that happens to both ways when people go on other networks as well that are favorable towards the Democrats and so forth.
Nobody's ever fed me any crap like that, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you're an independent-minded guy.
Thank you. Yeah. But aren't you a little embarrassed by the fact that your White House used a television network which is purportedly fair and balanced as your mouthpiece?
I think everybody in this town uses people that are going to be helpful to their cause to try to shape the narrative to their advantage. Again, I would separate the journalists, because the journalists that I worked with were people just like the rest of the White House press corps who were trying to report the news.
You wouldn't use Brit Hume as somebody to sell stuff for, but you'd use the nighttime guys.
Yeah, I would separate that out, and certainly, you know, and then they'll say that that's because they agree with those views in the White House.
Well, they didn't need a script, though, did they?
Well, probably not.
Rupert Murdoch put neocons on the air under the leadership of GOP operative Roger Ailes is no secret, but Fox has always maintained, with more or less a straight face, that it was striving for some sort of journalistic objectivity. Over the phone tonight, Scott McClellan told us it was done frequently, especially on high-profile issues, and Countdown asked whether Fox ever gave the White House its desired results. Scott said yes. We asked the White House about McClellan's statements on Hardball. Current Press Secretary Dana Perino said, quote, "I'm not aware of that," and declined to comment further. Let's bring in MSNBC political analyst, Air America radio host Rachel Maddow. Good evening, Rachel.
Hi, Keith.
Set this in proportion for us. I mean, yeah, it's Claude Rains in Casablanca, but if we knew this, what does this mean? Do you suddenly feel like 4% less paranoid than you did this afternoon?
I'm worried that it makes me naive, that I'm angry.
Wow.
I'm worried this actually makes me mad. I'm not mad at Fox. I feel like, you know, they make their peace with themselves and their God, and, you know, they pledge allegiance to nobody other than the bank at which they cash their paychecks every week. But I'm mad at the government for facilitating this. I'm mad at the leadership of our government, which swears to uphold the Constitution. And it's supposed to be illegal in America to propagandize the American people. It is supposed to be illegal for our government to covertly choose some sort of press organ that is represented to the American people as if it is a press organ, laughable as that may be, and is feeding us stuff that is actually propaganda from our government. The American government is not supposed to have a state organ in the press that is shoving this stuff down our throats as if it is news. It's not supposed to work this way in this country.
All right, to McClellan's point, everybody in the business has contacts, friends, etc., in politics, in campaigns, and so on. Your principal outlet, Air America, is openly allied with Democrats and Democratic causes. Explain where the line is between appropriate communications there and how the O'Reillys and the Hannitys and friends and the White House, in this case, cross that line.
It's not rocket science. It is 6th grade journalism class level stuff. Don't lie. Be transparent about what it is that you're doing. If you got a statement from the White House, you say, we got a statement from the White House about this today. If you got a statement from the McCain campaign or from the Obama campaign or from your Aunt Millie, you say, Aunt Millie, John McCain, or Barack Obama told us this today. It doesn't even sound bad when you put it that way. You just have to be transparent about where your content comes from. Don't lie. Don't be Pravda.
The fact that the White House paid people to echo its opinions and the Pentagon uploaded its own opinions to military guests, and comedian Rush Limbaugh described himself as a water carrier, expressed relief after the midterms in 2006 that he could stop carrying water for the undeserving. But now Fox. Does anyone actually believe the right-wing stuff they spout, or are all they doing just sort of making a buck to keep the masses hypnotized?
I don't know if the question is so much about Fox and about the right-wing talk show host, because it's well known, it's well documented that the conservative movement made a deliberate decision to sort of erect a pageant around their conservative media, a sort of pageant of journalism, that they would dress it up like journalism, they would make it look like journalism, they would even call it journalism in some cases, but it would be designed to advance the conservative movement's agenda. And we're seeing it come to fruition in a very monetarily successful way in Fox News, but also in talk radio and a lot of other ways. I don't think that their credibility is the thing that we've learned something new about, or the thing that was even really in question in terms of where the country goes from here. They can do whatever they want. The question is whether or not the elected government of the United States of America will help them and will enable them and will sell it to us as if that's real news. It is one thing for the White House to say, we like what Fox News does, or we like what Rush Limbaugh does. It's another thing for them to use them, as Chris, I think, rightly pointed out to Scott McClellan, to use them as spokespeople without acknowledging that's what they're doing. That's propaganda, and it's supposed to be illegal.
There you go. Just for the record, the White House declined to comment. We're expecting Dana Perino's probably waiting for somebody to write her some talking points. They transferred us to Fox. Fox did not return our call. So just for the record, and I wrote all that myself. Rachel Maddow of MSNBC and Air America. Thanks, Rach. Have a good weekend.
You too, Keith. Thank you.